today I'm going to be showing you Ableton's Impulse. So Impulse is a sample player where you can load in 8 samples and trigger them from your keyboard. It's a really useful tool if you're making trap, dubstep, drum and bass, maybe some of the harder, heavier house sounds. And basically what you can do is you can load up different samples. So I have my music production folder where I've got my samples semi-sorted, and what I have done is I've gone into special effects and vocals and just taken some vocal shouts and vocal effects. What I'll do just now is I'll show you what I've got loaded up. So I've got 2 instances of Impulse with different effects, and I will show you what I have on each one. So on the first one I have a bunch of sounds. I'll just play through them. Some of them might or might not work because I've not been using all of them in this track. And then we'll look at this one. This one didn't work, I remember, so I'll skip that. So as you can hear, it's really handy to have all these samples at your fingertips. If you're playing about in Ableton making a track, it can be very important to just have these sounds playable and easy to trigger. It's especially important for performance view, where if you're in arrange view and you have all your tracks laid out, you can just add little samples in here and there. But on performance view, you really want it at the input of MIDI. You can't just chop samples up and put them in at random bits along a whole track. So this is really handy. You can just jam it out on your keyboard as the song's playing, pick what you like, and it basically allows you to fill in your song at the empty bits, and it allows you to have much heavier and much more interesting songs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to unsolo these and play the song without Impulse, and then I'll play it with the Impulse samples, and you'll see how much of a difference just chucking in a few samples makes. So I'm going to deactivate these 2 just now, and I will play you the song, or I'll play you a snippet of the song. This is something I've whipped up very quickly, so don't judge too much. It is still very much in a creation process kind of thing, and it's also mostly made to demonstrate Impulse as a tool in Ableton, so don't expect high level production on this. And so that's what it sounds like without Impulse, and you'll hear just by adding those riser samples and some of the effects you can get a much harder sound, and the whole thing works a bit better. So here we go. So there we have it. What I can do for you is I can solo the Impulse ones, and I'll make sure to solo my voice as well. And this will show you just what the sounds on the Impulse is like. So here we'll have the build sounds just coming in halfway through the measure, so about now. And then of course we'll have effects. And then as an alternative one, I also have quite a whippy sound. So as you can see, Impulse is a really handy tool. It can just allow you to jam out sounds a lot quicker, and it really goes along with the kind of mindset that Ableton developers have always had, which is just optimizing the ease of use so you can get stuff on paper or technically on screen as fast as possible. And it also just allows you, if you are going into performance, you can use all these samples really easily. It's just mappable to the keyboard or pads, and so it prevents you having to do really complex stuff. You can have 8 samples per impulse, and what you can also do is you can add another instance and use one of the MIDI tools to map it out over more keys. So you could have several impulses on the one track. I've just kept it on 2 for ease of use and just to keep it simple. And basically it's just a very handy tool. If any of you have uses for Impulse that I've not really covered, I've only just mentioned one thing, please put it in the comments, because everyone watches these videos to learn. If everyone just imparts some of their wisdom, then everyone can learn a lot faster. If you liked this video, if it did help you out, please give it a like, give me a subscribe. I'll be doing a lot more videos on Ableton now because I've recently bought it, and so it's just a really nice DAW to use. I will be also keeping up with Reaper tutorials and Reaper videos, but Ableton is something that I'm branching out into as well, and I do really love it. It's quite a change from Reaper. I would actually recommend, if you have the money, getting Ableton and Reaper, because they both have a slightly different workflow, and one's great for the performance side and just jamming things out quickly, that's Ableton, and then Reaper is just a really solid DAW. I would say pretty much every track I make in Ableton I render and then mix in Reaper. I just find it a lot easier. Thank you very much guys, and until next time, make sure you high pass everything.